The other one that Dennis pulled, so I haven't heard this one yet, and it'll be fun to kind of review it in real time. Here we go.
Save big on spring during Kohl's Friends and Family Sale. Take 20% off with your coupon and get women's dresses $23.99 and men's polos starting at $10.39. Then save up to 40% on kids' Easter outfits. Plus earn Kohl's cash on your faves. At Kohl's.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Run it back. You mind if I run it back one more time?
Yeah, for sure.
Save big on spring during Kohl's Friends and Family Sale. Take 20% off with your coupon and get women's dresses $23.99 and men's polos starting at $10.39. Then save up to 40% on kids' Easter outfits. Plus earn Kohl's cash on your faves. At Kohl's.
All right. Yeah, I'm actually very similar to
Right.
Fridays. Yeah, kind of a disco, funky dance vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it sounded like a ripoff of Daft Punk, right?
Oh wow, yeah, dang. I didn't catch that. Yeah, you're right. I do see the similarities.
It
Oh
was almost
man, yeah.
like a DJ loop of that one song. Dang, I'm spacing the name of the song. It's one of Daft Punk's like huge songs. So yeah, I could definitely. I bet that was the reference for this. If it was a custom, it was probably like
They
Daft
wanted to
Punk
use something,
adjacent.
yeah, similar. Yeah, I think it's dope. I think it definitely puts you in that disco-y, dancey type of vibe. And it's what's so cool is when I'm listening to these sounds, you automatically can hear the retro influence. You also still get elements of it being modern as well. Like it's not so old timey where it's like, all right, this was made specifically for a 1970s type of brief or whatever the case may be. You can tell that they were, as far as the brief, whether they was using Daft Punk, they took elements of something that's vintage and collaborated with something that's a little bit more modern to kind of make this. I will say definitely though, when I'm listening to these two references, the only thing that I would say was a difference was the first record, even though they both kind of fell in that vintage modern feel, first record felt a little bit more modern. It felt like something that like we talk about as far as like Lil Boo thing. Right, like you can kind of hear on that first record where it was a little bit more modern with vintage, and this one you hear the modern and vintage, but I just think the vintage itself is overpowered it just a little teeny bit, not to the point where it's making it into like a classic record. It's just a little teeny bit with the sound. I don't know if it was like the horns or one
No,
of
I
the
agree. I
yeah,
totally agree. It sounds like even the mixing of it was very early Daft Punk, contained in this warm analog synth kind of
yes, vibe,
staticky sound, which is very
yeah,
much not the modern way. Even newer modern sounding tracks like what Jungle's up to
yeah,
with their kind of 70s throwback
yeah,
sounds. It doesn't feel warm and all contained in almost a mono sound
yeah,
like this track did.
yeah.
So
So
I
that
totally agree. Yeah, that's a great, interesting choice too, because it's not like the fashion is super retro.
Yeah, so it is interesting what direction was Cole's going into with this ad, only because like you just stated. Now I do see the elements of family because you see friends and family sale, you see the images of younger children, parents, grandparents, all this other. So you see where they was
Yeah,
going. So I understand like if they were like, all right, we want this to be full on retro, we want it to be analog, we want all these elements, then definitely, I think they hit it on the head. But if it was, we want this to be a great blend of both, then I think the modern aspect of it was just a little, it could have been more. Now, what's funny is if you take the ad we just looked at and
yeah,
took that song and added it on this one, it would work well too. That's the fun
you're
thing
right.
about it, only because like you still see the elements of like fans and friends and families, getting together and showing off of what they're showing off. So yeah, I think
Great
definitely
point.
they both work. It's just this one is a little more on the vintage side.
Yeah, and like you said, the imagery, I didn't even catch the grandparents thing. I was like, what do you mean grandparents? But you're right. I didn't catch that the multi-generational element on the
Yeah,
first two watches. But yeah, when scrubbing through the footage, they're targeting moms.
yeah, the
Where
older
they
gen,
really,
yeah,
yeah, older generation where it's that kind of Daft Punk retro thing is from a reference point still really cool.
yeah,
but it's very approachable, and it's not the grandma who's listening to this, maybe doing the coupon clipping or whatever from the newspaper still, isn't going to listen to this and be like, oh, this is too cool for me, or
Yeah.
it's meant for younger generations. No, this is meant for you too, which makes sense why maybe it leans more towards the
Retro side. And now it does make sense. You're right.
Yeah, and that funky guitar thing was super cool. Very, is that now Rogers kind of a tone.
Yeah.
That guitar tone is just gonna sound cool forever, I feel like. Like, I mean, from Chic to Daft Punk to Dua Lipa, it's like just always gonna sound cool.
Yeah. Nah, for
Uh,
sure, for sure. I think when we talk about just in the S in general, when we really start sitting down and like breaking them down the way that we're doing here with Emerge, you start really getting a better sense of idea of why that sound was used or why that record was used. Like when you really start, just like how we was just breaking this down.
yeah, I totally agree, and that's part of why I feel like the things that we strive to do to be the most useful to people who are licensing music